Happy Friday and welcome to today's multi-stream. I don't think we can quite call it three. I think we just got word that we are live on LinkedIn and YouTube. There is an issue with one of the other networks, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have fun. Welcome, everyone. I'm Rick Vanover from Veeam, and how are you doing, Corinne?
I'm doing all right. I am Corinne Bassett. I am also from Veeam, and we're not just live here. We're live in person at an event.
Yeah. So
live 360, in fact, all the lives.
Yeah, exactly. So we did a little bit of a different one. We've done another one of these live from type episodes. Today we are live from the last day of Live 360, and we'll explain what that is here in a second. And we're here in Orlando, but we want to know where you are as well. So go ahead and drop in the application, or drop in the chat, sorry, your U.S. state or your country, and we're going to light up this really cool map. And we've got our producers in Georgia and over in Europe and Romania for the EMEA side that are going to help us light up the map. So just in the thread, let us know where you're from, and we will take this pretty blank canvas and make it as green as we can.
Paint the world green.
Paint the world. Well, she's starting with the shirt, so she's underway.
Yep. I got Orlando covered.
Yeah, there we go. Cool. So,
hey, Florida's there.
Yeah, Florida. That's where we are. There we go. Usually it's Ohio for us too.
Yeah.
But no, we got a real event here today, this week, and we wanted to recap kind of a bunch of Microsoft stuff. I know, Corinne, you have a really distinct focus on one area of our Microsoft stack for sure.
Yeah, I'm with the Microsoft 365 side. I like to be sassy. You want to say it? He started it. It was on a meeting. I told him I want a T-shirt now.
Oh, no. I didn't approve it.
So, yeah, I work with the M365 suite. I like the stuff that we back up, but I also like learning about all the other things that they're doing and the new features, especially a reiteration of Loop that was mentioned at Microsoft Ignite.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm excited for that one. It's going to be like real live collaboration for like rotating documents. So you have the most up-to-date statistics on stuff. Remember, every time we're like, what are the latest download statistics?
Oh, right.
Those could be instant for us.
Yeah. So there's a lot to it, and and especially with the M365 side, it really kind of touches everything, honestly, because from Azure AD and more. So cool. Let's jump on over to some slides that we've got prepared here today. Believe it or not, we are prepared. Sometimes we do.
5 minutes before the show.
That's right. So the first thing I want to highlight, we're going to start with the Microsoft Ignite side of our recap today. Just, what was it, 2 weeks ago? That was Ignite?
Was that 2 weeks ago? It feels like yesterday.
But to be fair, it ran long.
Yes.
It wasn't just like 2 hot days. And it's actually still running in a way. And one of my favorite things about Ignite is that you can do on-demand replays. Have you done any of those yet?
I've done some of those, yes. I didn't have time to hit everything, I'm going to be honest. There was a lot going on at once, and we had some sessions that overlap. So if you haven't checked out those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to go take a look at that here in a second. But I wanted to draw attention to the QR code on the screen here. This QR code, well, you could do a Bing search and get there as well. But if you go to myignite.microsoft.com or this QR code, this goes right to the page. And you know what the beautiful thing is, Corinne? You don't even have to register. All you got to do is click and then search and drop in your area of, somebody's on it right now. Somebody just got into it. They love this advice. But basically, you just go right to this webpage and you can get into it. Now, if you're going to do so like that individual, do so safely but swiftly. All right, so let's take a look here at the Ignite homepage. And I just went right to that URL. Now, what I want to draw your attention to is this top section up here, these sessions. You can very easily go find some sessions, and all you're going to do is drop in the focus area that you want from any Microsoft technology. So let's go to session catalog. And what's a good word to search for? How about Veeam? How about Veeam? Yeah, so actually, but before I do that, right off the bat, there's 495 things to look. That's a lot. That is crazy.
It was huge.
Yeah. I mean, having done some work for Veeam on planning content, that's just a crazy number.
Are you getting like hives thinking about that many sessions having to plan?
It's a lot. It's a lot. But I want to draw your attention to the Veeam search results, right? That was a real kind of a token aspect of our sponsorship. And then I actually had an opportunity as an MVP to do one session as well, which was really cool. And so let's start with probably the coolest thing ever. And this is all you, Corinne. So let's take a look at this.
It's not all me. It was my idea and a great team to help put it together.
Indeed, indeed. So Fantasy Tabletop Adventure, no joke. That was the name of the session. We won't push the audio through here, but you can tell right away by just the look of this that something was up with this. What was your thought here to come to this content idea?
So to put it bluntly, we're a bunch of nerds. And I wanted to like reach out to my fellow nerdum out there because all of these events have been trying to get these gimmicks to get us in. And I'm like, what gimmick would I show up to? A tabletop adventure. Can we do that? Yeah. So one of the greatest stories from this was getting in and getting with our creative team. And they're like, wait, we get to make this? And then they start getting excited about making this dragon. Yeah. And it was fun for everyone.
Yeah, it was. And in fact, we even got a piece of feedback. I'll just fast forward a little bit. You could attack with a feature or cast a spell with some of these things, all related to some of the backup topics that we deal with. And
I took some AV creativity too. So if you haven't seen, there it is.
Yeah.
Swirling around.
Yeah, so she had, what are those, laser beams or fire? I don't know. Dragon breath?
Mist. I was the goddess.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I did not bring anything very interesting to that arrangement, but we spoke with a gentleman here this week.
Yeah.
And he said, a gentleman from Ohio as well, just coincidentally, he's like, that was the coolest session he had ever attended.
He actually told us he didn't attend any other session at Ignite because he's just done with virtual, but he saw the name and he's like, I have to go to that.
Yeah. So that was cool. And then you and I both teamed up with one of the Azure advocates, Thomas Maurer, about protecting data in Azure, how it's easier than ever. Same type of thing. You can go in and replay this. And we talked about the shared responsibility model. We talked about being backup for Azure and all of that. Same type of thing. You can drop in these replays. And just, again, reiterating that point, you don't even need to sign in. You see at the top, I could still sign in if I wanted to. So it's very, very accessible content. Hats off to Microsoft on that.
I bet you can guess my favorite part of Ignite.
What was that?
The Microsoft Ignite Challenge.
What?
The Learn Challenge.
Oh, what was that?
So the Learn Challenge is Microsoft Ignite has all of these modules, and they want you to test through them and complete these challenges. And at the end, you get a free certification.
If anybody,
voucher to go take it.
If anybody would be on that and find it.
Yeah.
For sure. I did an on-demand session around ransomware mitigation, best practices through better backup. It's something I focus a lot on. We're going to come back to that because that was one of the themes we took here at the Tech Mentor. And then also, this was the opportunity I had with the VMware Azure solution. I was able to team up with another MVP, Safala Tagarut from Switzerland, and we had a great little chat about how the VMware Azure solution can be a really cool mechanism to just really some of the use cases. And actually, this particular one, unfortunately, was not available on replay. Some of the different topics, they just didn't do the replay, but a lot of them are. And then there's also kind of the Veeam overall solution down here as well. So it's really, really easy to go into it, So yeah, it was really a great event. There was a lot of content that was in it, and so and then let's see, how about let's say Microsoft 365. That's another thing.
There was a lot of new content.
Yeah.
So I followed this RS feed of new features that come through for like their roadmap items, and it always explodes after Microsoft Ignite. And I have it filtered down to just Office 365.
There's only 445 sessions to choose from.
Yeah.
So anything you want, 365 or specific app service related, it'll be there. So really, really good stuff. So that's kind of a really big takeaway. So we just got word from the producers that the map is ready. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Over in the Americas, we got Ohio, which is not us, by the way.
No.
OH. And then we also have Pennsylvania, Indiana, as well as Belgium and Mexico. Or I'm sorry, in that order, not. But basically over to Europe, we've got Turkey, Belgium, and still Romania as well. I don't know, guys. We need some more action. Let us know in that chat.
Iran just popped in here.
All right. You're not going to get kicked out for being late, but welcome. If you are just joining us in the chat, I think we're live on LinkedIn currently, as well as YouTube. Go ahead and drop in that stream, your U.S. state or your country. We're really behind. I've been off for 2 weeks, so I need to get this application going. So let us know where you're from. Okay, the next part of kind of Microsoft Ignite that I want to highlight is this book of news. Now, Corinne, have you ever seen or heard of this particular resource?
I think I missed this one. I'm going to have to check it out.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point. The book of news is for those who missed something, right? And one of the things I really like about Microsoft is that for their major events, Ignite, Inspire, and the partner things and the like, they have this notion of a book of news. And my personal opinion, Corinne, is this is the best way to ingest all the news and announcements. Now, here's the thing. 459 sessions or whatever it was, and, anywhere from 10 to 20, 30 minutes each. That's a lot of time. Now, the book of news, I just counted. Any guess on how many words it is?
15 million.
No, come on.
It sounds like a lot.
Well, it is a lot. I just scraped the whole web page. Now, this includes the header and the footer and everything. It was 13,670 or so words. And then I did some bad math and said if the average person reads around 200 words a minute, 220 words a minute, this is about an hour's long read. But what I'm getting at is with 1 hour, and if you're like me, you'll skim through the sections of the areas of technology that are relevant to you. The worst case, 1 hour, you could really take it all in. So it's actually kind of an interesting product. So again, I've got the link here and a QR code there. But let's go ahead and take a look at the book of news. So this link is it looks like a Barstool library on that picture. It's kind of I don't know why somebody made the stool so high, but anyways.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. Here we go. So I won't be able to go through all of 13,670 words. But what I will highlight here is that as you scroll down, you'll see right here on the left, if you want to read something. So if Azure AI is 1.1, that is the first one up. So introduced in March, and then of course you can go get more. Some new things about cognitive services and then Azure Data. This is an area that, like here at Veeam, we've been focusing a lot. Now, some of these more advanced things like Synapse Analytics aren't really yet something that we integrate with. But again, this document, you just scroll down. Here we go. Some Azure SQL love, right? This is good stuff to read about. A new feature that connects SQL servers hosted anywhere to a SQL managed server instance. That's pretty cool, right? So you just go all the way down, SQL 22, Server 22, Azure Container Apps. I mean, it's a lot.
I'd probably be using Control Find myself.
Oh, come on. For 365, it's only mentioned 75 times in the document.
I want to look at Loop. Loop is one of my favorite things that were announced.
Well, it's all the way down there.
Yeah.
There we go. So Microsoft Loop components, Dynamics 365, and Teams integration. So, for the listeners and for me, tell me what Loop is.
So Loop is this new kind of like dashboard that they've created. And when you go through and you ask someone, what's the updated number on this? And they're continuously asking you for that updated number. Well, you could post in a document every time they refresh the page, there's the updated number from you.
Oh, that's cool.
Or from the document that you're aggregating that number from. I know I would use it all the time. I'm always wanting to ask our marketing team, okay, what are our downloads? What are our installs? What are our statistics on this and our analyzing side?
Interesting.
Right in Teams. Every time they go in, it's going to post what the latest is kind of thing.
I spend a lot of time in Teams. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know if I want to spend more, but that's okay. Anyways, and then maybe like, for example, I do a lot with Azure Blob Storage, for example. Blog storage. Anything Azure storage related that's mentioned 13 times, I can just skim right through. Really highly recommend the Azure Book of News. It's a great resource. All right, cool. So we're going to switch a little bit. That's Ignite. I showed you how to look at the Veeam sessions. I showed you my favorite resource, the Book of News. Let's talk Live 360. So This is your first time here at Live 360, Corinne. What's your take on it? And first of all, explain it to the audience. What is it?
So Live 360 is actually a part of a bigger event, which is Tech Mentor, and they have all of these different segments that you can go to. And even if you're not just strictly into every single part of like the Office environment or the Microsoft environment, you can go to these other sessions around and just get much more in-depth information. I had a lot of fun with the entire day labs. I spent an entire day on PowerShell.
Yeah, one of the hallmark features of this series of events is the hands-on labs. I think the Monday and the Friday, so today they're going on too, these full day labs. You did one on PowerShell, and then these 5 themes: Visual Studio, SQL Server, AI, Tech Mentor, and Cloud and Containers. So
they're making a chat bot too. You spent an entire session, like an entire day, and what they said is you're going to have an up and running chat bot by the time you walk out that door. And I've talked to some people from that session, and they are just great speakers that they aggregate here to give this out. That's like it's their day job. Or trainers.
Yeah.
We have a lot of trainers here.
A lot of trainers, a lot of IT pro practitioners. I was actually, lucky enough. I think I presented at this event way back. I think 2008 or 9 would have been the first time I did. And then I kept going all the way through, say, 2012, 2013. I can't remember. Took a little break. And I refocused on things because personally, when I was in MVP, I was proceeding down that Hyper-V path, and now I've worked on the Azure path. And so it kind of changed a little bit. But the good news is this event changed with it. So it was actually really cool. So I don't know their numbers, but they have pretty good attendance for a virtual and online experience. There was a hybrid element to it, so that's cool. We saw a couple of one Vanguard that was here, a couple of friendlies, really, really great to reunite. And, even like you can see this wristband here, they had a lot of safety protocols and stuff that they had us go through. I think it's really nice to see some of the Trailblazer events go through. Anything else you want to add on that?
It was just a really good in-person event. I was actually here in June, not for this event, but for a very similar genre of event. And we were just kind of getting in on how to do this. And this one, I think, is the first one I've been to that this is what everyone should be doing right now.
Yeah.
Like, it was really well put together. There weren't any delays, and like when you eat your meals, like they were on top of it.
Yeah. And I've been the organization has been great. And, thank you to Danielle and the team letting us use this room to stream out, and actually pretty good internet. Not going to lie. That's been good too.
I haven't had a single problem.
Yeah. It's been great. Awesome. So one of the other reasons we were here primarily is we had an opportunity, Corinne and I both, to do 2 different sessions. So we'll just do the super duper quick recap. And the first one was Azure storage and security best practices. And other than my number 1 tip that I'm going to share in a second, any takeaway on the storage and security session that we did that you would share?
It's always changing. So even if you've secured it today or you deployed it today, some of those default settings that would have been secure now have changed. And just keeping up with that is interesting.
That good thing. It's a good point, especially if you think about, say, the Azure or the Book of News that came out from Ignite. How does that affect some of the Azure services or even M365 services, right? Because they will change on you. And
or deprecation.
Or deprecation. Oh, yeah, there you go. The one thing I do want to highlight, kind of the cornerstone of my Azure security and storage best practices talk, and this is a practical tip that I'll share with the listeners right now. Start and end your day with a visit to the Azure Advisor. This is a free service that will assess your cost, your security, your optimizations, your best practices, your operational excellence. A couple of different categories. Performance was the other one. Sorry, forgot one. It'll assess your environment and give you recommendations and such. Why I say start and end your session. What if you do something in the Azure portal that caused a red security one to come in new? You want to know. So that's a best practice that everybody should do. And Azure Advisor is free. Unlike Security Center and Sentinel, it's a good way to do it. Okay, the other session we had is the topic on ransomware. It's a topic across the space. We have all kinds of opportunities for that to improve in the market. And while we had the opportunity to present here today, it was just generic ransomware tips. We didn't really bring the Veeam story, hence this very different kind of color livery that we had here. I love kind of having fun with, I forget what this one's called, Watershed or something like that. It's in, no, it's seriously.
It just reminds me of your shed load.
Oh, yes, shed load. It's not a cuss word.
No.
But
just a lot of items.
A lot of items. But the Watershed or whatever this livery is in PowerPoint, I use Microsoft AI to automatically build and arrange the slides. So I just put text down and maybe graphics, and it magic just through the air.
Yeah.
And one of the things we talked about in the ransomware session was just our observations in the space and things that drive recovery. And we talked a little bit about the 32110 rule, that modern application. And I created a term where I'm throwing immutability dust everywhere.
You gotta do it right. Immutability dust.
Immutability dust. Yes. So,
the entire session paused for a recognition of your new meme.
I think we need to make T-shirts out of
yes.
that or something like that.
Rickatron doing this.
Yes. But basically, the thought was having more immutability options in more places. That was really the goal for that session, and explaining how that works and such. So that was fun to do. All right, I just got word from the producers that the second cut of the application is ready. Let's go take a look at that. And we've added Canada. Thank you. Big Green Region. Chicago has joined us. Illinois, thank you for that. And as we shift over to EMEA, we've added Greece, Switzerland, Russia, another big green footprint. And we've also added, Qatar came in late. We have Brazil down south. And then over in Africa, we got a live attendee, Ethiopia. That might be a first on the live. I don't know, maybe not. But welcome, Ethiopia. And then Qatar as well. Sorry, Qatar is ready. That's how you say it correctly, my bad. Is joining us here today. Good representation. All right. For being my first show back, I'm happy with that. All right, Corinne, hey, thank you so much for joining me here today. And as we wrap up, couple things, that Ignite replay, and that's a really good thing. And what do you search for? Veeam, that's right. And then you can replay the sessions that we have up here. And one other thing related to Microsoft is that if you didn't catch it, V11A, you can find info on that at KB4215. That brought the Windows Server 2022 support. So that kind of closes the loop on the Microsoft Jam. So Corinne, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me.
And then a big thank you to our global production team, both in Atlanta and in Romania, who have helped promote and operate and organize the stream here today. And a big thanks to you for attending. All right, everyone. One other thing, we don't have a show next week. There's a big U.S. holiday, so the Monday show and the Friday show will be suspended, and we'll come back at it pretty strong. And actually, we have another live from AWS reInvent the week after. So that's the next time you'll see the Tech Bites show. But Czech Republic and Argentina sneaking in. I like it. All right, everyone. Thanks for attending this stream. Have a great weekend. That concludes our show today.